Young people like me want to volunteer and are willing to commit. And there are a lot of things organisations can do to create more welcoming environments that help young people want to stick around. I heard about my volunteering role with Prevent Sport Heal through a Facebook group that I was already a part of. I'd gone to a camp run by a charity called Zero to Hero, and as part of that they have a Facebook group that all the alumni join afterwards with like-minded young people. So the role was made by a young person and they advertised on that group. The onboarding experience was more like just some group meetings that we had. There was a lot of flexibility about what the role was and it wasn't super set up perfectly yet. So I was actually part of making the role what I wanted it to be. So the onboarding experience was very flexible and very centered on the people who would be doing it. And it was more of a group discussion that we all chipped in together to figure out what we wanted the project to actually look like. I was in the role for about 11 months, on and off, because it was a political campaign. There's of course times that it comes and goes, but it was 11 months from when I joined and when the youth branch was created till when the campaign ended. The main reason I wanted to stay in the role is because it was something that I was really passionate about in mental health. I've had my own experiences of mental health, and that was actually part of the reason why I got involved with Zero to Hero. So being able to be around people who'd had similar experiences to me and were similarly passionate really helped me get through some of those initial barriers and made me really enjoy the work that I was doing, and also be able to see the impact that I was making, because I was around people who had stories similar to me, and I could see that the work we were doing was work that would have really helped us when we were struggling. The reason I wanted to volunteer is because I was still quite young. I just left high school, so I didn't really have any qualifications per se, and I'd received a lot from the community when it came to mental health, and I felt really inspired to give back as my way of showing my appreciation. So although I didn't have any formal qualifications, I came to realize that my experience was a qualification in itself. I think the ideal scenario for me on the first day of volunteering is being around other new people. It's quite intimidating for me when I'm the only one stepping into an already established group. So having other people there who are similarly nervous and not really sure what they want or what it's going to look like was really helpful, and I would always want that in other roles. Something actually with my time with Prevent Sport Heal that made it difficult to continue was just stepping outside of my comfort zone, which wasn't a bad thing, but it was something that I had to come to terms with when I tried something new and I decided it wasn't something that I liked. For example, I was petitioning in the city, which I thought would be great, realized I wasn't very good at it and really didn't enjoy it. So having to kind of figure out where I sat within the group and kind of what my responsibilities were and what I was willing to have them be was quite difficult, but it's something that with the group support and having open conversations, I was able to work through. The things that make me feel really supported in a volunteer organisation is being able to have the space to have discussions about who I am, what's going on for me, what I can do in the role and how that might change over time, and as well as having the time to provide feedback, both myself to the organisation and vice versa, and just having the accepting place where I can be my authentic self and still be able to function within the group. Some things that make me feel disconnected from my role as a volunteer are things like not being checked in with or just being left to my own devices the entire time. While that's not a bad thing, it can be difficult when I'm new and I'm not really sure how things function, and not being able to have somebody come to me and ask if I need help, but actually have to step even further out of my comfort zone to go and find the help that I need would be really difficult for me. Through my time volunteering with Prevent Sport Heal, it gave me a lot of opportunities to develop skills I was interested in, and especially being able to try out different things. So because it was a political organisation, there's a lot of contacts and networks available there, and so I actually got involved through that campaign with the Department of Health on a project that I'm still involved with, and that kind of helped me build up my skills as an advocate, which then led on to leaning into more facilitation with other organizations and now working at Yakra as a youth consultant. And so that really helped me build commitment to the cause, being able to see that it wasn't just the organization getting something from me, but actually I was able to develop myself and learn things from them as well. In conclusion, these are some things that your volunteer organization could do to create an environment where young people want to stay on as a volunteer. Make young people feel like an important part of your organization and take the time to get to know them. Seek the ideas and unique contributions your young volunteers can provide, such as communications like social media. Create an environment that fosters both personal and professional development for your young volunteers. Explore ways in which their role might change in line with their changing interests or values, and keep an open mind to different ways of trying things. Create variety within the roles to provide your young volunteers opportunity to get unique experiences and try new things. Take the time for regular check-ins with your young volunteers to get to know what's going on in their life. This will help you preempt times when they might not be able to contribute as much and help you work together to work on some solutions. This might look like assigning them a mentor or a buddy, or just scheduling in regular times before or after they're volunteering to have a chat. As part of getting to know your volunteers, it's also really important to be both flexible and adaptable for times they might not be able to contribute as much as they have been, such as exam times or holiday periods where they might be taking up extra work. Understand for many young people, lots of changes can happen quite quickly in their lives, and being able to keep up to date with how they're going can help you preempt some of these times and keep them involved. You can also engage your young volunteers in activities outside of their role, such as inviting them to come along to staff meetings or providing extra training they might be interested in. This helps build a sense of community for them and helps them see the impact they're having in the greater scheme of things. Ensure your young volunteers can see the impact they're having within the grander picture of your organizational mission, especially if the work and role they're doing isn't on the ground work. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, make volunteering fun.